guys? Anakin back again, and for hopefully a series I want to hopefully continue for the next, I think, 5 months, is leading up to Infinity War. I actually found out that if you watch a Marvel movie a week, you would lead up to exactly to Infinity War. So if you watch every single MCU movie up until this point, you would actually be fully ready to watch Infinity War, and I thought it'd be a good idea to review every single Marvel movie over the span of the next couple months, because these are obviously a big parts of my childhood and I love these movies. And I feel like, especially more moving my channel more towards a movie reviewing channel, I would love to have my own MCU Road to Infinity War like section of my channel, and I would, of like 20 or like 19, how many Marvel movies there are, just straight up reviews of me reviewing and gushing over these movies that I've loved since I was a kid. Now, obviously, the first one we're going to talk about, Iron Man. This movie, I'm going to say it just flat out, this movie changed my life. This movie changed how I perceived everything as far as superheroes go, because up until this point, I was just a Wolverine guy. Like, I loved Wolverine. I was more or less a Wolverine, kind of Batman, and then superhero guy. Or, yeah, just a superhero kid. But this elevated everything because this was something new. It was different, and Iron Man was so cool, and it obviously really helped that as a kid I have a lot of, like, I love to build things. I love to mess around with paper, cardboard, foil, and everything. I love to build things. So I remember Iron Man being the perfect superhero for me because he makes an Iron Man suit that I wanted to make my own things. And I think without this movie, I wouldn't be as creative, or I wouldn't have such a passion for building things, or have a passion to make figures, or have a passion to make anything really, and to build props. Like, without this movie, like, this movie really did change my life, and it changed a lot of it. And I love that I have memories of seeing this in the theater. I feel like I'll never forget, like, the opening scene of this movie, and like thinking, okay, like, it's Robert Downey Jr., but like how prominent the text when it said "Durr" and it was Iron Man. Like, I will never forget how prominent that was, because like that's one of my favorite movie things. Yeah, one of my favorite movie memories. And it's crazy that this movie came out 10 years ago. So that's like a memory I have for over 10 years. And let's actually talk about the movie, except other than how it changed my life, more or less, is I cannot believe that I can still stand here and say 10 years later that Robert Downey Jr. is honestly one of the best performers that I've ever seen play a superhero character ever. Him and Hugh Jackman are irreplaceable as their characters, and I feel like him in this movie, rewatching it again, him in this movie, you really get to see the humanity of Tony Stark. You really get to see, and you really get to hear his and feel his emotions from it, and I love that. Like, I really do love that, and they really do explore his character deeper in, like, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, but as an introduction to this character, you can tell that, like, RDJ really did tackle it and took more into what he, like, got on his personal life, and I love this. More or less on the acting side, like, Gwyneth Paltrow was really good in this movie. Terrence Howard, even though he got replaced, was pretty good as Rhodey. And then Jeff Bridges as the first Marvel villain. He's Jeff Bridges, man. You can't really, like, knock him for anything that he does. And let's see, going off of plot, I still believe that this is one of the best superhero movies ever made. So I love the whole that I shouldn't be alive, and that I need to protect the people that I put in harm's way. Like, I love that line, and that perfectly solidifies what this entire MCU is built on, and it's completely based off what the Iron Man character is and who he becomes in this movie. And going through, I don't think there's a solid part in this movie where I'm never bored. And even rewatching it now, like, watching this movie as a kid, like, a lot of this, it seems so iconic to me. And, like, even while we're watching it again, like, the references to his dad, the references of that semi-alluded Captain America and everything, like, I just adore and love this movie. And for everything that it did at its time, and for how revolutionary it is, period, in, like, all of superhero history, as far as making it a genre. Because this movie is so perfect in a way that nobody ever thought that Iron Man would be the one to set off, that would be the one to launch the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You never ever in a million years would have ever thought that. When this is a time when Marvel didn't have Spider-Man, this is a time where Marvel probably didn't, or not probably, it's a time where they didn't have a deal with Fox going, where they were all alone, and they didn't even have their own company yet. They were still bonded with Paramount, and they were able to do this. And you can see how it definitely paid off, because they're still making movies and they're still amazing at this point. And I don't know what else to say about this movie, of how amazing, well acted this movie is. I feel like the one thing that I maybe don't, which is due to time, is that it's so weird looking at this movie and seeing some of the Iron Man suits and some of the shots and be like, wow, like I feel like 10 years has really gone by and CG has gotten so much better. Like it's so sad to say that, but even this shot back here, I think this shot still looks amazing, but like there's some parts with like the Ironmonger that like I'm like wow, like CG has gone so far that I feel like I'm looking at that. Back then I wouldn't think I was looking at something fake, but now I know that it really doesn't. But it's just weird because a lot of this, I give a credit to a lot of this movie that it did use a lot of more practical effects, because this is their first go around. Okay, this is one thing I did want to notice, that as I'm rewatching these movies, I actually find out that I actually love these scores a lot more, because I know Marvel gets knocked on having good scores, but I actually really do love these scores. Like I love the dun 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 dun. Like I love Iron Man score, but going off of that, like I don't think there's anything more to say about this movie. I think it's as perfect as you can get with the Marvel movies, with the exceptions like Civil War, Winter Soldier, and Avengers. Obviously, like I think that's as pure perfect as you get, but none of them would have came without this movie right here. So there you go. There's my first Road to Infinity War reviews, and thanks for watching, and hopefully I can review the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. Yeah, it's a lot of videos, but hopefully I can do it. And I'm just gearing towards waiting for Infinity War, because that's a huge journey that started with this movie right here. Get a better shot of that. Yeah.